Welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Walker. This podcast is about my personal journey from being $25,000 in debt to getting to $1 million of net worth by the age of 43. Follow along with my journey, implement the ideas, and let's do it together. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's get started. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo 2021. I'm your host, Christopher Walker, and what a good day. Just made myself a solid drink right here. It is I'm kind of a champagne guy because I don't like to drink hard liquor a lot, but you can still make some mixed drinks. You can't really see it until there. Took a little champagne with some ice cubes, fill it up to about right there. Put a little tropical, simply tropical in there up to the top with a couple serrano peppers. Mix it all up. Man, that's a good drink right there. Yeah, could probably use vodka. You know, I'm not opposed to some vodka, but I also like just having a nice, I don't like to drink a ton of liquor. You know, I'd rather just drink get a nice little buzz, one or two drinks, and I'm good to go. So yeah, how are you guys doing? It is a great day today. I know every day I seem like I do my podcast on days where things are going really good. We did have a definite pullback for a while, but you know, it's just part of it. And now things are looking good again. So a lot of cool stuff is happening. We're going to talk about Ethereum. We're going to talk about Doge. We're going to talk about Chainlink. So a lot of good stuff. I definitely need a new computer. I'm going to start by saying that. I want to make that investment. It's going to cost about $2,000, but I'm just kind of waiting because that $2,000, if I leave it alone in cryptocurrency, you know, I think it could turn into 10 to 20 grand by the end of the year. So that's kind of where I'm at. But in the meantime, when I want to restart my computer, I have to wait like 15 minutes sometimes. So I'm rocking like a 2012 iMac, which is not bad. You know, I'm blessed. But also just want to move faster sometimes. And this thing, you know, it had its run and it's still serving its purpose. But, you know, just ready for the next step whenever that comes. So gotta just enjoy it while I got it. And then next year, whenever we're taking out some of these crypto investments, which I think it will be in a few months, that's when we'll look to upgrade. So hope you guys have been doing well. First thing I wanted to talk about was Ethereum. Currently, it's about 3,400, and you know, I think it went above 35. Yeah, it went 35.50, set an all-time high today. I believe that was the all-time high. And I don't know if I'm not going to say I called this, but I will say that with Ethereum, I did mention like a week or two or whatever I did, one of the last ones, that sometimes Ethereum just sits for, you know, weeks and months. And it starts to get to the point where people just start asking like, should we sell our ETH? You know, it'll sit like, it just tends to just sit there and just wait and test everyone. Like, are you going to sell it or not? And then finally, when everyone's ready to give up, that's when it breaks. You know, it went on a run from about 1,800 to 33,000 and then just continued. Now we're in uncharted territory, coming up and just hitting new all-time highs at 3,500. So, you know, some people are predicting a $30,000 Ethereum this bull run, which is not out of the question, I believe. You know, I'm not going to doubt the crypto markets at this point on what can be possible. And I think a lot of people are talking about in a 5-year time, one Ethereum could be worth about 75K. So by the next bull run. So, you know, it's just, that's likely probably going to happen. And it's just funny how things are so relative. I was thinking about this today. Last May, I remember driving around and I was, you know, trying to figure out what to invest in. I was investing in different stocks. You know, some of it was working, some of it wasn't. But the most obvious obvious investment was just sitting right in front of me the whole time, and it was Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was about 5 to 7 thousand. And the consensus at that time is like, well, Bitcoin's at 5,000. Like it's we didn't know what it was going to do. I didn't realize the potential until like I think October was when I started doing some really good understanding of the fundamentals and how high this asset could go. But it's just funny because trying to find all these different stocks to invest in, you have something so obvious right in front of you like Bitcoin, and you could have gotten more gains with other altcoins, of course. I'm not saying it's the best investment of the year, but I'm saying it's probably the most obvious. And now we're sitting at 50,000, and we're about between 50 and 60K. And everybody's kind of sentiment is, well, if Bitcoin's 50,000, that's really high. I don't think I want to invest in it now. But think about a year from now. What if Bitcoin goes to 400K this year? I mean, that's projected. I mean, I follow kind of the stock to flow model, and within the next 5 years, it's possible for Bitcoin to be somewhere between 100,000 and a million per Bitcoin. And it's just one of those things where everyone's going to be looking back like, well, I wish I had bought Bitcoin when it was 50K. And we've got that opportunity right now, and your money can 10 to 20x over the course of 5 years. And that could be somebody being like, I mean, it might even 6x or so this year. I mean, if you could find a stock like that, everybody would be buying it. It's just that people aren't sure about Bitcoin because they haven't taken the time to understand it. And they believe with stocks, everything is going to, like, they trust in it more because it's been around. But as you can see from the stock market, like, there's so much uncertainty all the time. Janet Yellen comes out with a statement talking about it's a potential that we'll have to raise interest rates, in the future. And when she does that, this whole stock market takes a dip, and everything that's what frustrated me so much about stocks, is that everything is so dependent upon all these things going right all the time. Whereas with cryptocurrency, you don't have to worry about that, because if the government keeps printing all the money that they're doing, that's bullish for cryptocurrency. If the dollar weakens, that's bullish for cryptocurrency. I'm not saying I want that to happen, but I don't control the way the government works, And I think if you look at our financials as a country, obviously we're going in the wrong direction with a lot of things. National debt is, I mean, we talked about that on one of the first episodes. It's probably close to 30 trillion now, if not more. I think when we looked at it a few months ago, it was 28 trillion. And it's just laughable to look at, the way that's going. And if you're like, okay, I want to invest in something that depends on all these things going right, it's just discouraging sometimes, because you're just waiting for you think you have a good investment, but your investment can be, hamstrung by like all these outside factors that have nothing to do with your potential company. So, we've gone through a long bull run in the stock market. It's been close to 10 years or so of consistent growth, which is amazing. But at the same time, like, everything goes in cycles. And so there's probably going to be a retrace at some point, and eventually, it's going to go one of two ways. And either, I feel like I'm just getting on a rant, but I'm just going to finish it out here. So the way that the stock market is going to correct itself is that everything is kind of like overinflated at this point, and we can like let the economy do its kind of settle itself out because of all the economic factors that have happened over the past year. And we can like say, okay, like, it's not going to be great for a few years, but we'll be healthier in the long run. Or we can just keep printing money in the short term and help ourselves out in the short term, but we're at risk of a longer correction in the future. And it's going to come at some point, and the longer you push it off, the worse it's going to get. It's just one of those things where, because of politics and because people want to get reelected, they're not going to let the economy tank. And even though that would be the best thing to help us probably long term, is for a short term, economic recession or something like that. And I know that's not a great word to say, recession. Everyone gets scared, and that's not something we want. But sometimes it's healthier in the short term to just go through that short term, and then you're healthier for a longer period in the future. So that's kind of the last thing I'm going to say on that. But with cryptocurrency, it's just obvious that these platforms and technologies that we're talking about are going to revolutionize the world. Crypto is the revolution. And so you don't have to worry about like countries managing their economic policies correctly for this to go right, because it doesn't necessarily depend on countries' economic policies. It's the actual fundamentals of what's happening in the technology, which technology is obviously going to go forward into the future, and things are going to improve technologically wise, if that's a word, you know? So yeah, so that's basically what I'm going with on that, is that you could sit there and look at for stocks and try to find one. If you find a stock that's going to 10x, that's amazing. You might have to wait 10 or 20 years or 5 years at the earliest for that. But with crypto, you can get 10 to 20x returns in a year in the bull run. So speaking of 10x returns, you know, my favorite coin, Chainlink, hit an all-time high just above $50. And I think that was the first thing that got me back into crypto back in April of 2020. And I had gotten about, I bought it when it was somewhere between $3 and $4, you know, and I bought a little bit more when it was a little bit higher. So my average cost was like 6. So, but yeah, I mean, it's gone over a 10x from the $4 range back earlier in 2020 till now. And it's a great project long term. I think it's a celebration point for me, because Chainlink is one of the things that got me back into crypto. And because I found that investment, I started really digging into the crypto asset like market a lot more. And because of that, I found so many more resources and learned so much that it's changed my life to this day. And that's why I'm making this channel, is not that I know a ton about the whole market, but just trying to share the things that I've learned over the past year, because, you know, I feel like I'm a walk-in advertisement for YouTube Premium. You know, I used to think that paying $11.99 a month was a lot for not watching ads. And, you know, and I was so short-sighted in that thinking. I just went ahead and did it one day and just started paying for it. And within the first video, when I could turn my phone off and put it in my pocket and still listen to the content that I was wanting to and not have any ads whatsoever, my focus shifted so much from watching Netflix to watching YouTube. So instead of watching entertainment, I'm watching entertainment that's actually teaching me something. And to me, that's been a game changer over the past year, because I'm just constantly trying to learn stuff. And, you know, there's so much you can learn, and you can watch it anytime. Like, I mean, that's the same with streaming, but at the same time, like, you know, you're actually getting something out of it that's teaching you concepts. And over the course, what's up, Amy? He's hanging out back there. You're learning all these concepts that are going to help you. So, you know, that $11.99 has been one of the best investments per month that I've ever made, because without that $11.99 investment to go learn all these things, you know, I don't know if I would be at the same place. So yeah, that's a nice little rant right there. I hope you're still here and listening, but kind of I'm just talking about broad concepts over here and the reason that I'm making this channel. So good times, Ethereum over 3,000, Chainlink at 47 now. And then we're also going to talk about Cardano going back up into the 140s. I think this is a great project if you're new to the space and you're looking for a safe thing to invest in that hasn't necessarily gone parabolic yet. Cardano has been sitting between 120 and 150 for a while now, and it's projected to go as high as, you know, $10 during this bull run. So you can, you know, 6, 7, 8x your money potentially this bull run on something that's a very safe coin, because this has so much capital behind it already. It's got so many projects. The guy, Charles Hoskinson, is the guy who is the head of the project and the leader. I think some of the stuff that he's got to say is just really awesome and revolutionary for how he wants to change the world in a positive way through cryptocurrency. So if you're interested in learning and you want a safe thing to invest in that could have a high return, you know, but it's still relatively cheap, I think Cardano is a fun one to get into. So check that one out. And then lastly, we're just going to talk about Dogecoin, which I have to admit, when I was wrong on Dogecoin, if I had kept the Dogecoin that I had bought back in January, I'd have a lot of cash right now. But you know, so here's the thing with Dogecoin is that I was scared when I had it. I made some money in the short term, but then I tried to make some more off of it and lost more money. And so then I was like, okay, I don't know what the fundamentals of this project is. So if you look at something like Bitcoin, that's a store of value. Ethereum, there's going to be NFTs, DeFi. Cardano is kind of the same thing, smart contracts on both of those. And Cardano is supposed to get those soon. I think that's going to be a game changer when that happens. All these cryptocurrencies that I've been talking about have very specific use cases and want to improve the world in a specific way. Dogecoin is not necessarily the same because Dogecoin is more just of a community. It has a very high supply of coins. So there's Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin that are very similar, where it's the same code. It's just more like different things. So with Bitcoin, the total supply is like 21 million. With Litecoin, I believe it's 60 something million. And then let me look at Dogecoin. Let's see. I think it's in the billions, high billions or something. Yeah. Let's see. Dogecoin circulating supply is 129 billion. So that's the reason why Doge is so cheap. If it had the same market cap but a fixed supply of like 100 million, then it would be like $200-300, you know, per coin. I haven't done the exact math on that, but you'd have to just take the market cap, which is 82 billion, divide it by if it was 100 million, it'd probably be something like $100 or $1,000 per Dogecoin. But because the supply is so big and because they add to the supply every year, Dogecoin is not going to go high in price because there's going to be more and more of it to spread out that market cap, if that makes sense. You know, it's supply and demand. So that's how you figure out the price of a coin. You divide the market cap by the total supply, and that's the price per coin. And if you want to see that, you can go to CoinMarketCap and other crypto sites and see what all that stuff is. So yeah, anyway, but with Doge, you know, there wasn't necessarily a use case for that project besides just that it's a community. And most of the time that Doge pumps is because of certain things like hype, like Elon Musk talks about it, or Wall Street bets, you know. And to me, that's not necessarily something that I was comfortable in just holding long term. But if I had, I would have been handsomely rewarded with that. You know, it's just a matter of understanding that Doge was going to go off because of, you know, the community thing. And so if you think about it, the community thing is definitely a great factor, because just because something has a great use case, if there's no community, it's not necessarily going to do that much, because there needs to be people who believe in it, who are going to keep investing in it, you know? So Doge is just more like that community feel. And because people want to see it succeed, it's grown so much. You can't underestimate the power of social media. That's what it comes down to. And so because Dogecoin has such a good following, that's why it's gone higher and higher and higher. And I do believe Doge is potentially going to hit $1 here soon. And here's where it gets interesting. Okay. So Elon Musk is going to be on Saturday Night Live. You probably already knew that. Just wanted to make sure you did. And I think that is one of the reasons why Doge has pumped from the 30-cent range to the 60-cent range this week. And a lot of people are talking about Doge hitting $1. Elon Musk will mention Doge on Saturday Night Live, he says. And so to me, the natural tendency is to think like, okay, well, it's probably going to hit $1 during Saturday Night Live. That's what I think. But then the more I started researching it, is that with Doge, or anything, it's a lot of buildup. And usually what happens is when there's big news coming out, things pump and pump and pump. But then when the actual news comes out, the project, dips back down. So what that's called is buy the rumor, sell the news. And that's a common thing in stocks, is that whenever earnings are coming out and a company is supposed to have a big earnings report and do well for a quarter, you'll see the stock run up for that week or two, and it'll just pump and slowly rise and be like, okay, like they're about to have big earnings. And then when the earnings come out, even if they're like really good, because the project or stock had pumped so much, it wasn't a sustainable price, and it just immediately falls as soon as the news comes out. So this is something to watch out for. I actually got back into Doge yesterday at about the 50 something cent range. So I'm currently up slightly, but I'm also watching this one closely because, excuse me, because I have a feeling that, and from what I've heard on some of the crypto YouTube channels, is that a lot of people are planning on selling Friday. And so if you are in Doge and you are looking to get out, just be careful for this weekend. I just want to make sure you're watching. Don't sit on it. I mean, you got to sleep. I'm going to sleep and see what happens tomorrow. But, I'm holding Doge in the hopes of getting a, 30% to 50% return, maybe more. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think that's what I'm looking for, is to get some kind of like 50% return or something in Doge on within the next day or two. I mean, that sounds crazy, but yeah, I mean, we'll see how it's looking tomorrow. And if it's looking like there's a huge run up tomorrow, or, and then we'll see. I'm going to be watching Friday depending on, and seeing if I should sell or hold. But I do think just that's one concept to be aware of, is buy the rumor, sell the news. And so if Elon Musk is going to mention it on Saturday Night Live, that would be the news coming out when he does it, I would say. So just be careful and don't hold too long if you are planning to sell. If you're a long-term hodler, which that's paid off for all Doge people so far, because if you held from 0.002, you've, 60, I don't know, 600 extra money or something like that. So something like that. Yeah. So I mean, whatever you put in Doge, let's just do the math. If you put in $100 in Doge and it's 65 cents right now, and you did it from the point where it's 002, that's 325 times 100. You'd have $32,500 off your $100 investment, which Doge was 0.002, I think, a few months ago. So congrats if you did that. It was an amazing investment, and you do indeed have diamond hands. So I think Doge is fun. I'm not against it. I just really am not comfortable holding it for a long time, because the reasons that it pumps are usually because of hype. And but I do understand that community is important, social media is important, and because of those two factors, with the way Doge has such a strong community, it is seeing the rewards. So if you are a long-term hodler, or holder, either one, respect, and hopefully you've made a lot of money on that. And besides that, I think what it's doing is bringing a lot of people into crypto. And I love talking to people that are just getting into crypto. And the more and more they look into it and figure things out, they're more into it. And it gives you something to aspire to as a young investor, or any age. It's like, if you're a person who's never really been into stocks like myself, but you're into the concepts of crypto assets and what they can do for the world, I think that's the fun part, is just to think like, okay, we're getting into this market, and this could pay off really well for us and our families for the future. So that's what our goal is. And that's my goal in this channel, is to just try to like bring this kind of information to the masses, or more people at least, just so if they're kind of like where I was a few months ago, I can actually help them along their journey in some way, and we can all get to 1 million together. So I mean, it just ties together well in that little statement. I think I'd say that all the time, but it's just, that's the whole point, is that, what's the fastest way we could become millionaires? It's through cryptocurrency. And so that's what we need to focus on while it's hot, at least. And then I know it's going to be a long-term concept too, but I know, just talking about the bull run, it's probably going to be anywhere from 5 months to longer, more. So just keep that in mind. If you're on the fence and you're like, should I get in? You can always put some money in, and if it goes up, you can take some out and then protect your profits. That's what I say. If you put $1,000 into something and it doubles, you can take out 500 and then, see what happens from there. Take your profits out as you go. And that way, by the end of it, you'll have at least what you invested plus more. And then you can keep your moon bag. So if it goes up or down, you sell at the right time or don't, you're not going to be kicking yourself as much, because you do have your profits out and you are protected. So just enjoy the rest of the bull run. It's gonna be, I mean, like I said in the disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. I'm trying to share my knowledge to help other people out, but I can't predict the future. I can just go off of what I see and the information that I have and what I listen to from other people. So if you want to get YouTube Premium, I think that's a great investment for yourself if you're trying to like learn more, just so you don't have to watch ads all the time. I mean, it's really, within the first video, you'll be like, okay, this kind of pays for itself. So that's it for this week. Hopefully YouTube will promote my video based on what I just said. But yeah, that's it for this week and today. Good luck with this Doge to the moon. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye.